Hello everyone, I'm back with a new video, and in this one we'll be talking about the easiest way of installing Scream to share audio between the host and the guest virtual machine. To get started, this guide should work with Ubuntu, Manjaro, Pop! OS, Mint, and Fedora. So this guide assumes that you will be running the virtual machine with pretty much the default networking, and that's Virtual Bridge 0 right here. So under Edit, Connection Details and Virtual Networks, and make sure it's set to Auto Start on boot. So Ubuntu does that by default, but Manjaro, you will have to select it to Auto Start on boot. If you don't, you will have to start Scream manually every time you want to run it. So not a big deal, but this is how this guide is designed. So set it to Auto Start on boot. Secondly, your virtual machine should use pretty much either virtual network default NAT, or you can specify shared device name for virtual bridge 0. Either way. So if you decide to do it differently and use a different device than these two, you will have to adjust some parameters. This is the default this guide is meant to operate. So also, another thing you should do is change the device model to VirtIO. That should help with the communication between the guest and the host, since this is taking place over the network. So you want to select the VirtIO preferably. And then install the drivers. And the VirtIO drivers, you can download them from a link that I will include in the video description. Right here. This will be accessible, and you download this VirtIO Win ISO. Okay, so we have that. What else? We'll also need Scream itself, and again, it will be included in the video description, so let's download Scream. Let's save that, and we'll also download Scream Helper. Okay, so we have Scream and Scream Helper. I also downloaded the VirtIO drivers, so those are the three things to get started. Now that we've downloaded it, let's run it with the help of Scream Helper. If we go to Downloads, we'll have to extract it. Let's extract Scream itself. And let's copy Scream Master into the Scream Helper folder. And then let's open the command line. Okay. So now let's change directory to Downloads and Scream Helper. And let's make the helper.sh executable. Chmod plus x helper.sh, and let's run it as a sudo. Okay, so Scream has been built. It has been copied to usr/bin, and it should auto start every time your computer starts and boots into Linux. So it will only auto start if that virtual bridge 0 is present. If that is not set to auto start, then Scream won't be running either, and you will have to start it by running usr/bin/screamaudio.sh. So you will just run this, and what does that look like? All it does, it starts Scream, and it runs it on Virtual Bridge 0. If you decide to use a different interface and you want to stream audio, let's say, to some remote computer, you can change the interface from Virtual Bridge 0 to ETH0 or whatever. So, but by default, if you just want to share your audio from the guest to the host, this should be sufficient as is, and you don't have to change anything. Okay, so now that's done. You can start Scream right now, like this. Scream audio, and it'll be running. Or you don't have to do that, and you can just reboot your computer. And you should see Scream running in the background. So let's take a look at that. And we can take a look into settings, sound, and we see that Scream is running. Next, let's start our virtual machine. Let's attach the Vertio driver CD-ROM to that. And we'll install Vertio drivers when this boots. These are for the network card. It will work without the Vertio network card, but it is recommended to use Vertio. And I'm using Looking Glass, so let me start that. Okay, so Windows decided to download some updates, so that took a while. But now let's get back to what we were doing. So installing Vertio drivers. So device manager, network adapters. Well, okay, actually it will be under other devices and Ethernet controllers update. Browse and the CD we attached. CD-ROM drive. Net KVM. Windows 10 and AMD 64. Everybody on a 64-bit machine is AMD 64. Okay, install that, install, and we're good there. Okay, next we'll download the guest portion of Scream. And again, I will leave it in the video description, the link. We'll go right here, and 3.6, Scream 3.6.zip. And let's save it. Let's save it to desktop so I can find it. Okay, let's close that. Let's unzip this. Right-click on install, run as administrator. Yes. And install. And again, you can't be, well, you have to disable secure boot if you want to run this. Secure boot on the virtual machine. So, and to do that, you have to go to the BIOS when the virtual machine is booting, F2, and then disable secure boot. Okay, so Scream is installed, and we should see it here, available as one of our sound devices. So let me open YouTube.
Hello everyone, in this video I'll be talking about GPU pass-through in Ubuntu 20.04. To get started, you will need a processor and a motherboard that...
Okay, so that seems to be working fine, and again, we are capturing audio from the graphics card that's outputting Linux to the capture card. So this is audio from the host. Now let's go over some troubleshooting steps. So the way this works in usr/bin, there is Scream, and then there is Scream_audio.sh. Scream_audio.sh executes Scream as -i virtual bridge 0. So if everything is on virtual bridge 0, this will work fine. If you decide to use a different network card, you just need to edit it in usr bin scream_audio.sh, and that will get executed on host startup. So as long as that interface is active when the host starts, you should be fine, and you should be able to see Scream running when you check sound in settings. There it is, Scream. So that's one thing. Number two, make sure the network card is set to whatever needs to be set. So in this case, because we are using virtual bridge 0, it will be either NAT or you can specify shared device name as virtual bridge 0. And again, device model virtio. For those of you who want to stream the audio from your virtual machine over the network, you would set it to, let's say, host device. For example, you can use bridge or whatever is available. It would put you on the same subnet as your host. So you would basically, your virtual machine would appear to be another device on your home network. The only thing is, as it says right here, in most configuration that doesn't permit guest to host communication, so you wouldn't be able to listen to it on the host itself. Scream is pretty flexible. So by default, it's using multicast. So anything on that subnet can basically tune into it and listen to what Scream is broadcasting. You can also change it to unicast and everything. All of those you can find of Scream's website. It goes over changing different things pretty thoroughly. So as I said, another thing you have to do is disable secure boot on your virtual machine. And it goes over that too, right here. For those of you who are curious about disabling secure boot, okay, if you keep pressing F2 while the virtual machine is booting, you will get to the virtual machine's BIOS, and under Device Manager, secure boot configuration just needs to be disabled. So yeah, if you want to know more, I recommend you to visit the Scream GitHub page, again listed in the video description, read about it there. It's pretty thorough. My guide should provide a pretty decent starting point. It should auto start it for you, so that should work. And for more advanced settings, there is the Scream GitHub page. Well, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.